Ottawa's special extended family program to help relatives of Canadians flee Gaza opens this Tuesday. It would allow for about 1,000 Palestinians to take refuge in this country for 3 years, though their families in Canada must agree to support them financially. Mohammed Alghusain is a Palestinian Canadian hoping to bring some of his extended family here. Mohammed, nice to see you again.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me.
When we last spoke, you had just made it to Canada, and you were very torn over the decision to have to leave your parents behind as you and your wife and daughters fled. What are your hopes now that this program opens and that you might, in fact, be able to get them out?
Well, first, I'm very thankful for such a program to be open finally. We have some speculation regarding this program for the fact that only 1,000 applications are going to be accepted. And we still have no information about the way that those families or the people of Gaza will be able to actually leave Gaza into Egypt and then to Canada. So there's got to be some sort of a coordination between the Canadian government, the Egyptian government, and I think the Israelis as well, to be able to get these people out of Gaza, which I heard that it's going to be hard to be done. So the program is going to be basically useless if they're not able to get the people out of Gaza. And this was our hope and our first demand.
Yeah, it does sound as though, and as you point out, not surprising given the struggle you had in getting out, the Canadian government is pretty limited in what it can do to assure you that you would be able to get your family members out. So will you apply even though you aren't sure how you would be able to get your parents to the Rafah crossing, for instance?
Oh yeah, for sure. I will apply. I will apply hoping that they will find a solution for this. But trust me, like the limitation that the Canadian government had is the same limitation that the U.S. government had, and the British, the Germans, and all of them were able to put some pressure on the Egyptian government and on the Israelis to get their people out of Gaza, and they have succeeded much more than the Canadians, unfortunately. So there's still like a possibility of getting the people out of there.
What was the situation like when you last contacted your parents, when you were last able to speak with them?
Well, I've contacted them this morning, actually. My dad was very lucky somehow. He got some internet and he was able to give me a call.
Good.
And it's just the situation is extremely horrible, Rosemary. And the fact that now they're trapped in the middle of Gaza and all the bombardment is right beside them. So some bullets even hit the walls of the house that they're sitting in. So it's getting scarier every day. It's getting much scarier and much more dangerous every single day. So like a civilian woman got killed this morning by a sniper, and she was just crossing the street from a house to another in the same area that they're residing in. So yeah, it's just horrible, and it's getting worse every single day.
I've talked to a number of people who had to make that journey from where they live to the Rafah crossing. I don't know what the situation is for your parents, how old they are and their health. Is that something that they would be able to even do?
Well, it's going to be a very difficult journey, that's for sure. But at least they're going to be like running away from death, basically. So just gunfires is all around them now, Rosemary. It's just literally all around them. It's not just a voice or a noise. It's actually like actual bullets that's hitting the walls of the house that they're sitting in and all the neighborhood. So they'll be just running out of fire and hoping that they'll get to the Rafah crossing. And this is another thing that was like had so many question marks. The fact that they postponed the program to open until the 9th of January. You know how many people have died since they announced the program until the 9th of January? Like, I wonder why they're taking this long. And we still don't know even how long are they going to take until they accept the applications and then arrange for the departure and so on. So I think it's going to take like a long time. I hope it's going to be a fast process. And it's very necessary to be a fast process because you're basically saving people's lives.
Obviously, one of the conditions of the program, as I mentioned off the top there, is that family members, you or others in Canada, have to make sure that you have the money to support the family members you're bringing here. Is that feasible for you, given that you just arrived back in Canada?
Well, for me and for so many people that just were here in Canada or just arrived, the fact that we're sponsoring like 5 or 10 family members, we're able to sponsor them for the next, let's say, 3, 4, 5 months, but then they're gonna need more time for them to settle down and to be able to find jobs and so on.
Yeah.
And I don't know how that would work. Also, there's another thing actually. There's the application fees that were waived from, for example, the Ukrainians, the Syrians.
Yeah.
Those fees were waived, but in our case, until now, there's no information about that, and we don't think that it's going to be waived. And it's about $280 for each application, for each person, not for each application. So, for example, I have 5 family members. It's going to be around $1,500 just for applying,
So
not for anything else.
Yeah, so you're trying to get your parents, and I guess if you're talking about 5 family members, your sisters too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. My parents, my father, my mother, and my 3 sisters, basically. Those are the first family members that I can actually sponsor and support and pay for their flight tickets and be able to have them at the place that I have now.
How are you doing? When we last talked, you had just gotten back, and I know you were adapting to winter and trying to get yourselves organized, but how are you and your family doing?
We're doing much better, but the situation is still the same in Gaza. So we're still like in body we're here, but our mind and heart is just in Gaza. We keep on following the news and so on. I was able to get my 2 daughters. They're 5 years old and 7 years old. They're registered in school. They're starting, to engage with school activities and so on, which is very good. But at the same time, it's really important to just have at least the family members out, so that we can start moving on. And I just have something that I wanted to say, Rosemary. There's always like a root cause of the problem, and the root cause of our problem, and the problem actually can't be solved without solving this root cause, is basically the occupation. We've been occupied since 70 years. We've been under extreme siege in Gaza for the past 17 years. And this problem will not end unless the occupation or at least the siege of Gaza would end.
Of course,
this is extremely important to mention.
Yes, of course. One of the root causes, too, I would argue, Mohammed, is the attack by Hamas on October 7th.
That was only on the October 7th, but there were so many attacks from the Israelis for the past 17 years, Rosemary.
Okay. Mohammed, will you keep us posted after you apply and let us know whether you get your family members over here or a couple of them, and let us know how you're doing?
For sure. Thank you so much.
Nice to speak to you again.
Good.